Thank you for choosing the Kegel maintenance videos. Today, we will be replacing the transfer roller belt on our IKON or IKON Walker Lane machine. To remove the transfer roller belt, we will first have to remove our buffer brush. To begin, we will need to remove the buffer belt from the buffer assembly. We will first proceed to the input-output test to raise the brush. We'll start with main menu, I/O test, output test, and finally brush lift. Once our brush is in the up position, we will now need to remove the oil compartment lid. If you need assistance removing, please reference our lid removal video. I've also taken the liberty of removing both side covers. If you need assistance in doing so, reference our side cover removal video. We will now need to remove our buffer belt. We will now want to locate the jam nut for our buffer belt idler assembly. Go to the transfer system, and right above you will see the jam nut protruding through the side wall. Using your 9/16 socket, loosen the jam nut. With your idler loose, take your hand up to the buffer pulley and your other hand and rotate the buffer brush, working the belt off the pulley. With our belt removed and the machine in the transport position, we will now need to lower the brush to the down position. Once complete, shut the machine off. Now that the belt's been removed and your brush has been returned to the down position, we will now want to remove our brush link shoulder bolts. Taking your 3/16 cut Allen, we will remove the brush lift shoulder bolt. Once removed, you will want to repeat the procedure on the other side. With both the brush lift rod shoulder bolts removed, we'll now move to the exterior of the machine. Remove the shoulder bolt from the brush, supporting the brush so it does not fall. We will now repeat the process on the other side of the machine. Loosen the bolt, remembering to support the brush. And gently remove. We will want to start with our 1/2-inch jam nut. Remove the jam nut, followed by the lock washer, followed by the tensioner, followed by the last lock washer. Remove the bolt. And lastly, the forward bolt. With our tensioner bolt and our forward bolt removed, we will now move down to the crossbar mounting bolts. Using a 5/32 Allen head, remove the bolts. Before removing the bracket, loosen the two 1/8-inch Allen screws. Note there are 2 per bearing. Hold the transfer roller and the buffer brush. Gently lift up and remove the bearing mount. From here, slide your bearing off and loop the belt around the shaft. Take the new belt, loop it around the transfer roller, and around the buffer brush. With your brush back in the assembly, take the machine-edged bearing and face that point down. Take your bearing mount and reapply. Once in place, reinsert the crossbar hardware. These two bolts you can tighten all the way. Once the support bar is secured, add your bearing hardware, making sure the short bolt goes on top, and the longer bolt on the flat machine side portion of the bearing. We will now replace our transfer roller belt idler. Remember, the flat portion of the bearing should be facing this bolt. Take a lock washer. We've also taken the time to disassemble our idler, clean it, and using some 10W30 lubricating oil, lubricate the idler. Slide the idler on and hold in place. Add your second lock washer, followed by your jam nut. Once finger tight, taking a 1/2-inch wrench, apply light pressure on the idler and tighten the jam nut. We are now ready for reinstallation. A helpful tip before reinstallation: reach beneath, compress the oil tip, and turn clockwise, releasing the oil tip. Pull the tip back so it is flush with the oil head block. This will prevent the oil tip from obstructing the brush during installation. Take the brush with the transfer roller facing you and gently reinsert back into the machine frame. Gently lift the assembly. Reinsert your shoulder bolt and do the same on the other side. Be sure to not fully tighten the bolts until all 4 bolts are in place. With both the outer shoulder bolts started, we will now want to reattach our brush lift shaft. Supporting the roller and being cautious not to clip your oil head belt in the back, we will gently hold the brush in place. Take your inner shoulder bolt, place through the brush lift linkage, and begin tightening. Again, do not fully tighten until the other side is secured. With one side secure, we will now move to the opposite side. Again, supporting the roller and gently pulling back. Be cautious of your oil head belt. Feed the bolt through the linkage. And reattach the hardware. With all 4 bolts in place, you can now tighten all 4 shoulder bolts, starting with the linkages. With your linkages now tight, you will now secure the main frame bolts. With our brush back in place, the last piece of hardware we will need to tighten will need to be the set screws on the bearing. Remembering there are 2 set screws per bearing, take an 1/8-inch Allen and secure the bearing. Before proceeding, be sure to re-secure your oil tip assembly. With the brush now fully installed, reattach and adjust your buffer belt. Take your new belt, loop it around the brush pulley, remembering to be beneath the idler, and up and over the buffer pulley. Rotate the brush and guide the belt back on. With your new belt now in place, we will now want to lower the machine back to the transport position and return the brush to the down position. We'll go to Main Menu, I/O Test, Output Test, and Brush Lift. Once in the down position, power the machine off. With the brush now in the down position, we want to take our idler and gently press down on the belt, tightening the jam nut. You're looking for the belt to be snug tight, not super tight, with a little bit of play. With your tension now set, we will want to test rotation of the buffer brush. Proceed to Main Menu, I/O Test, Output Test, and finally, Buffer. With proper tension and rotation achieved, you can now take the lane machine and test on lane.